software, but not in this room maybe. The open source is not a free software, not a license, but it has a very important meaning to us. Okay, it comes up. So I'd like to briefly talk about open source to us and project also explaining about this project called SOI Asia as a case of global educational platform. So what is the open source? Mr. Russell Nelson of Open Source Initiative Board of Directors said, open source is not about freedom, nor is it about licenses. It's about community. So it sounds a bit strange because open source doesn't mean software. Open source is a community. What is this? Open source software is supported by many people. It doesn't exist without people who support it. So the open source software is developed by core members, but not only core members. Supporting users are very important. Supporting users are not directly writing codes, but using it and feedbacking it and supporting the software development from various aspects. And there is users who are just using it, but users are not just a user. User usually likes this concept and support this existence of this open source software. So open source software is a community which supports the open source software. So that's what the director says. I think this concept is very important to our project as well. And also, different description about the open source. Open source is a development method for software that harness the power of distributed power, a peer review, and transparency of the process. The promise of open source is better quality, higher reliability, more flexibility, lower cost, and an end to predatory vendor lock-in. This is the definition or description written in this URL, the opensource.org. I think this is also a very important concept of the open source. Open source is the development method. Open source is a community, but in order to create such a community, there is a way to participate in the community. So a development method is a kind of the way, clear way to participate in this community. This says the promise of the open source is better quality, higher reliability. That means the open source software is more reliable and better quality than the one which is developed within one company. That's the comparison about the open source versus the proprietary software. So in order to support open source, we need a development method and create a community. Then we can create a better software and better knowledge, better resources that everyone in the world can utilize or enjoy. That's the open software concept. So now, who we are. I'm a director of School on Internet Asia, SOI Asia. And what is SOI Asia? This project started in 2001. Currently, we have 27 universities and institutions in Asia as partners. We are daily sharing knowledge and experience over the internet among Asian universities and students using technology. I know all of you coming to this room are a specialist in education and technology. So you should familiar with how ICT helps education already. So I don't repeat it, but in short, what we are creating a commons for research and education among partner institutions. That's the simple words that describes our project. Of course, we are sharing lectures, seminars, discussions, daily basis over the internet. But it's not just sharing lectures. We are creating commons that very align with the open source concept. So let me go on to our project a little bit deeper. This is the map with the partner institutions. Chulalongkorn University is one of the partners as a longest friendship. And we have 11 countries in Asia. As you can see, the most east is currently, I think it's Japan. Most west is, I think it's Nepal. We have a 3 hour and 15 minutes time differences between Japan and Nepal. But 3 hours is not that bad. We can share the same time for learning and teaching. For example, if we do a lecture in the afternoon in Japan, Nepal students can join in their morning time frame. So sharing knowledge among Asian people, Asian students are very important as we can share the time. If we pick up a partner from the United States, it's quite difficult to share the lecture. Midnight over there, very early in the morning in here. And also the same situation with European countries. But within Asia, we can share the same time. We can enjoy it together. That's why we focusing on the Asia. How we operate our project. In order to share the knowledge and experiences, we need a development method, as I said. Those are the layers we are working on. We are developing contents and sharing contents. And we are developing together application layers, which helps us to share the knowledges. And we develop a network if we do not have enough network in many places, some places. And in order to develop and operate the network, we need network operators and engineers working together. So we are working on the operational trainings as well. So those are the 4 major activities in our project in order to create a commons, in order to sustain our environment, to share the commons. So let me go from the bottom. For the network, recently there are a lot of network development and the internet is everywhere, but is it truly so? Some area doesn't have much sophisticated network communication. So we need to work on several other methods. So here is the satellite equipment's pictures in each partners. Nowadays we have a fiber optics over the world, but still we have a very unique utilization of this satellite communication in our project. I think this antenna is sitting in the engineering department of Chulalongkorn Universities to share our knowledge with us. Yes, Chulalongkorn University has a very good internet already, but still we have